Hello there, people of the internet. So, I was out the other day, actually a couple of days at this point, and I was doing some gun running down at the local gun range with a couple of buddies. And one of the rifles I brought was this M16 inspired build. This is a KP15 lower on a PSA upper. If you don't know what the What Would Stoner Do project is, I recommend that you look it up because that is quite the fascinating little piece of history. But this rifle is chambered in 223/556, and that is a very popular, very common cartridge here inside of the United States. However, because of its popularity and because of its extremely high usage, basically everybody is looking for that 223/556 round. So as of right now, I don't have a whole lot of funds and capabilities to be able to get myself additional ammunition. So just on top of that alone, I probably shouldn't have done as much range running as I have been because I should be saving this ammo to use for the YouTube channel. But anyway, what I'm talking about today has nothing to do with saving ammo because of financial restraints. But I definitely think that with everything going on in the world, we should start thinking about ammo conservation at least a little bit, especially me, since I am very limited on my ammunition supply and my capacity to get additional ammunition. So everything going on in the world, there's a lot of uncertainty that is going on, and there's a lot of situations that could very easily put us here in the United States at a very precarious situation. And if something like that were to happen, we would of course need as much ammunition as we could possibly get our hands on. The most common cartridge for fighting rifles here in the US is going to be your 223/556, probably in some sort of AR platform. And so as a result, that is what most people are normally going after. And with everything that is going on, I do see a lot of situations where people are panic buying, and so as a result, I see significant dips in supply, and we are seeing significant increases in cost. As of right now, 556 or 223 is going for like 55 to 60 cents a shot, and that price is only going to steadily increase as the times of uncertainty continue to give us issue. So if you are the type of person to go out and blow through a case of 1,000 rounds of 556 and then go out and get yourself another case of 1,000 rounds of 556, you might be in a situation much like we saw through 2020 and 2021. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Much like we saw with the situation of 2020 and 2021 where 223/556 was like unobtainable, people might start buying it to the level to where there's no longer any of it left on the market, and you might find yourself in a situation where you cannot get that ammunition. Maybe the military's buying it all up for whatever it is that they're doing. I know the Lake City was recently saying that they weren't going to be selling any more ammunition to the civilian population because the military needed as much ammo as they could possibly get their hands on, which leans us towards thinking there might be something on the horizon, something that maybe they know that we do not know. So if you're the type of person to just go and blow through a bunch of ammo and not really care about it until your next time where you go to buy ammo, you might find yourself at a spot to where you cannot find the most common cartridge because everybody else is out there trying to find that particular cartridge. Now, I am a reloader myself, and I'm sure somebody's going to go into the comments and talk about reloading. Whenever it comes to 223/556, I've always had difficulty reloading that, and I say that loosely because my 223/556 reloads, I mean, they work in the AR platform and they work well enough, but I could never get them to be all that reliable, and that's just what you get from 223/556, especially because I'm using hand-me-down reloading equipment. So I'm only going to be able to push those things so much. But whenever it comes to reloading the 223/556 out of the DI gun or the direct impingement firearms and AR platforms and whatnot, just your self-loading firearms, I've always had issues with reloading those in terms of having consistent reliability and consistent accuracy. And there's plenty of people out there who can reload them just fine. I'm just not all that skilled of a reloader, I suppose. And I'm getting better. I'm still in the process of learning. I'm in my mid-20s. Give me time. I'll get there. But this is a cartridge that has always given me issues, and as a result, I would not bet my life at all on my 223 reloads. Like, I would not want to bet my life at all, especially because I have one or two malfunctions every single magazine, and that is a good way to end up like the many soldiers who gave their lives in Vietnam with jammed M16s would end up. So we definitely do not want that. As a result, typically whenever it comes to 223, 556, I'll end up just buying myself factory ammunition and I'll call it at that, especially because factory ammunition for this particular cartridge can be got pretty readily available in times of peace. And for the most part, most of the civilian population out there are not reloaders, and they're going to go out and buy factory ammunition of their own, and with the purchase of that factory ammunition, well, they're going to use it once, and they're not going to worry about reloading, and as a result, they're paying 45, 50, 55, 60 cents per shot, and I don't know about you guys, but I definitely cannot afford to shoot a whole bunch of that. If something goes down, too, we won't be able to find a whole bunch of that. There's just so many people in the U.S. that utilize that cartridge, and there's so many people who want to have like enormous stockpiles of this stuff, and there's so many people who are willing to pay that price to be able to get their little piece of the 223 556 pie, and it's to the point to where people will spend the money on it, and then prices will skyrocket, and then everything will sell out, and we'll find ourselves without any ammunition, and the people who are manufacturing the ammunition will find themselves in a situation where they make a whole bunch of money. So that's definitely not something that I would like to lean into myself. So as a result of that, I am likely going to stop using my 223 556 at the ranging. I'm probably going to start saving this stuff, only because of my inabilities to reload it properly to the point to where I would bet my life on it. So I'm going to keep the factory 223 556 ammunition that I already have because it is expensive and I cannot afford to get more. I'm going to keep what I have on hand, and I'm going to save that ammunition. And what I'm instead going to be shooting is other, more cheaper rounds. As a matter of fact, where's it at? I got some 22 long rifle, and I got a bunch of different 22 long rifle platforms that I can send this lead through. That is a really good, cost-effective way to be able to send a bunch of lead downrange without really breaking the bank. This right here is a round that I would not bet my life on. I mean, it's definitely capable. It could get the job done, but I still wouldn't bet my life on it, especially with the rifles that I'm running. They're just unreliable. 22 long rifle is a dirty round, and I haven't cleaned them in forever. Springs are wearing out, etc., etc. I would not bet my life on this particular cartridge, so even if I ran out of 22 long rifle and I could not find any more, I would still feel fine. I would still be okay with my particular situation, because this is a round that I'm not going to depend on for the end of times. I'm also going to be reloading 38 Special, 357 Magnum, and 9mm, simply because I can use a 3.55 diameter projectile to reload all of these. And as a result of that, I could reload these for extremely economic prices. So these right here will probably be my main shooting cartridges. And whenever it comes to saving money, they're not my primary go-to defensive round. So if I run out of the resources necessary to be able to reload these, that's fine. I still have my defensive ammunition available to me. If something were to happen and I needed that defensive rifle to be able to defend life and liberty and maybe even defend the homeland, then I would basically leave the 38 Special and the 357 Magnum and the 45 ACP. I'd leave the things that I would not use as my primary behind, or I'd give it to some buddies, or I would do whatever situation it is that it called for. Then I would take my primary stuff. So I don't want to go running through my primary calibers for the things that I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and try and save those. I got a bunch of different calibers here that are not primary that I can go out and shoot instead of 223 556. Like instead of this 223, I could go out and send some lead downrange with this SKS chambered in 7.62 by 39. This right here is not my primary, so even if I run out of this ammunition, I would not feel I would not feel in danger. I would not feel inadequately armed. I would not feel like I'm in a bad situation. However, if I ran out of 223-556, which is my primary go-to cartridge for my primary go-to rifle, and I only had like a small amount to be able to defend myself, and I had to end up relying on like old school calibers to be able to keep myself safe, I'd feel significantly less gunned than I originally would be. So, yeah, that's definitely not going to be an ideal situation. Okay, what else? Whenever it comes to rifle calibers, 308 diameter bullets will load a whole bunch of different things, and I'm not going to be using a 308 in my primary defense. Some people will. I'm not one of them, so you do you, I'll do me. But there's a good way to be able to get a whole bunch of different calibers for not a lot of money, because I'll just use 308 diameter bullets, which are very predominant here in the United States, and I'll use that to reload a whole bunch of different stuff. And for the most part, the 308 diameter bullets that I'm using, those are bolt actions and manually operated systems. I don't have to worry about the reliability of having to make sure everything is on point and exact like I would need to for a gas system. That's one of the issues I have with reloading 223-556 and sending it out of my AR. There's just some tiny little subtleties that'll make it not reliable and not function all that well, and that's just one of the things that we contend with. So, thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. I definitely recommend that you save ammo unless you have a means to be able to get more. I do not have that means to be able to get more, but even if I did, honestly, with everything going on, I would want to make sure that I have enough ammunition saved up for just in case purposes, and 223-556 is one of those cartridges that I would want to have plenty of saved up. So, like, subscribe, share, description below is a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you guys in the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.